Number 3 in the tie between things that makes the Skydio 2 unlike every other drone is the AI's videographic mastery. The camera work of the Skydio 2 while autonomously tracking a subject. Back when I studied film in college, we learned how every dimension of a shot, even the very behavior of the camera itself, while that shot is being recorded, conveys a message. Smoothness or steadiness of the camera movement and the framing are two very basic but very important components in cinematography that can make or break the viewing experience. And the Skydio 2 does both incredibly well. If you're trying to communicate how beautiful a landscape is, but the camera is super unsteady, the viewer's not going to perceive that the landscape is beautiful. They'll be thinking that that landscape is making them want to puke. So if you're out and about with whatever well-established drone, you know, biking or motorcycle riding, walking, skateboarding, whatever it is that you're out there shooting, and you need your drone to be its own camera crew, you may indeed end up with clips that are impressive. But if the drone you're using can't keep the shot steady, the viewer, at least subconsciously, is going to be thinking on some level about how the shot was captured, rather than purely appreciating what is in it. Shaky camera work is always distracting, unless it reinforces the message or itself produces the emotional context of what the director is trying to convey in that shot. Like this example from Buckaroo Banzai. Professional drone pilots, especially FPV pilots, they can get some amazingly controlled, dynamic, graceful shots. But if you're a content creator who just wants to be doing your own thing, it's kind of impossible to be in front of the camera and behind it at the same time. I don't know how the wizards of Skydio got their AI to achieve consistently smooth as butterscotch pudding steady shots, but other professional quality drones just can't seem to match it. The other dynamic of the Skydio 2's photographic technique that totally kicks ass, and that I appreciate a great deal, is that the Skydio 2 consistently frames the shots properly. Every other brand of drone footage I've ever seen that was recorded under an autonomous tracking flight mode seems like they're trying to keep the tracked subject right smack in the middle of the frame. Now, if the target is spot in the middle of the frame, the drone is less likely to lose you because the image of you will have to travel further within that frame before you fall out of it. Which is especially important if the kind of drone you're using has camera work that's all over the place. So, from a technical standpoint, I can understand why most of the other drones seem to do that. But I bought my drone not simply because it can accomplish tracking a subject. I bought it to do photography, you know, to consistently collect great usable video. The Skydio 2 is unparalleled in tracking. We just saw that a couple minutes ago. But when the Skydio is truly tracking, it's not only tracking, it's also framing everything in accordance with the standards of accepted photographic technique, based on how you're moving in relation to it. The Skydio 2 keeps you framed so that the eye of the viewer is drawn also to the environment where the action is taking place. The viewer can take in the majesty of the entire scene. The Skydio 2's AI shoots things the same way that a human photographer or videographer would, and autonomously adjusts the technique appropriately. Whether we're talking about the steadiness of the shot, the framing of the shot, And I guess also the unbelievable on-the-fly choreography of the shot. The guys at Skydio baked in actual correct cinematic theory into how this thing works. No other drone does that.